Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is April 10th, Easter Monday, 2023. The Cardinals now sit at 3-6, not just last place in the NL Central, but last place in the National League.
Yeah, not an ideal start. I don't think, not the start any of us hoped for. I don't think I'm panicked by any means, to be honest with you. I think we're seeing a team right now that doesn't know, they haven't found their recipe to win. It's either, your pitching's good and your hitting sucks, or your hitting's good and your pitching sucks. I mean, they're gonna be fine, I think. But right now, I mean, they had a big test, against three good teams, and they failed. They failed the test. Like, they won the first series, got absolutely bitch slapped the second series, and then the third series, I mean, they just fell flat. You kind of had the feeling no chance they were winning that series because it felt like they didn't deserve to win that series. Like, they weren't the better team this weekend.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of my freshman college algebra class in college. First exam, 33%. So very reminiscent to what I did then.
Yeah.
Like, we said on here, it'll be nice to see them tested playing 9 teams. They got their asses handed to them. That's all. That's honestly all you can say. Were there some highlights through those first 9 games? Absolutely. But there were way more lowlights. And while panic is the wrong word, I think we're at 5.5% of the season has been played. So
It's
panic,
nothing.
not
Nothing.
time to do that.
No.
However, there are trends that do make you nervous of things we have seen over the past 8 years that we have talked about. And those are things that still continue to linger as the Cardinals organization has not addressed the starting pitching. The hitting with runners in scoring position. Look, the numbers will probably even themselves out over the year. We know that, but against good teams, to beat good teams, and that's who you're going to play in the playoffs, you have to hit better with runners in scoring position.
Here's what I know about that is it's never. It seems like that if that's bad, it kind of snowballs if runners in scoring position. You almost feel like you got to get a bases clearing double at some point, and then it kind of rights the ship. But I feel like guys are just pressing that situation because they know that people aren't coming through, just like we know. So once like you need Nolan or Goldie to step up and hit a double with bases loaded, just to get something going, to get that going in a positive direction. I think the reason people are so pissed, and this is the reason that I'm upset. I'm not even mad, really. The reason that I'm kind of disappointed is I saw me in the media in St. Louis, like, well, they'll be fine. They're about to play the Rockies and the Pirates. Well, yeah, no one here thinks that they're not going to beat up on shitty teams. Like, we all know that's going to happen. I'm upset because this year was supposed to be the year where they took that next step, where they were beating good teams now. They're not doing it. Like, it's over. It's rinse and repeat with this team where they don't beat good teams. And as much as I want them to be an elite team, as much as I want to be able to come on here and say they're a top 5 team in baseball, they're just not right now. Like, maybe they will be, maybe it'll click, but as of right now, they are who they've been the last 3 years, where they're NL Central good. That's all they are right now.
And I saw a I don't know who posted it, to be honest with you, a stat on Twitter yesterday about teams against above 500 teams since 2019. Cardinals were pretty good in 19. The last 3 years, not very good, but nobody's been really, really good. However, 3-6 unacceptable, especially when you're 2-4 at home.
I did see, though, his point was, I saw that tweet as well. He said that there's 3 teams above 500 last year against good teams. It was the Braves, it was the Mets, and it was the Dodgers. Yeah. I mean, all you're saying is what we're thinking, which is what we want them to be on that level, and they're not. Like, yes. You just proved the point. Like, that's, yeah, I don't know what point you think you're proving.
I agree with you. I think you said they'd go 2-1 over the weekend. I said they'd go 1-2. I thought honestly that maybe they'd win the Jack start. That's not the one they won. They won. Monty, fantastic. Here's the thing I will say: you just buried the Pirates. They're 6-3. Look, I'm not going to call them a great team, and awful, terrible news losing O'Neal Cruz. That's just that breaks my heart. That's a guy we want to keep in the game. You want to see him play for the Pirates. I'm not going to say the Pirates are going to win at a 67% clip. I'm just saying right now they are 6-3, and everybody talking about going out to play the Rockies. Bro, I've watched us go out to Coors Field since Coors Field opened. That is never a fun trip, no matter what Colorado's. I mean, this isn't the Blake Street Bombers anymore. However, just going out there in that massive stadium when Colorado's going to get to hit 9 times That is never a fun feeling. Never.
Now, not even now good pitching, like let alone
Correct.
middling pitching. It's definitely not a series that you can just say, oh, it's a series win. It's not. Before we get into that, do you want to get into the series itself? Is there anything? I don't want to go game by game because honestly, I don't want to talk about every moment of every game because it wasn't fun to watch and I don't want to relive it. But I do. Let's start with positives. I want to start with positives because there's a lot of negatives going around right now.
Yeah.
I've got 2 hitters that I want to highlight, and actually 3. I think Nolan Gorman looks amazing.
He
His
had
walks
4
have been
great
great.
at bats yesterday, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he was just hitting it right at Yelich. He looks really good. Taking the ball the other way. Freddie Peralta is a guy that last year when he was struggling, Gorman's going to struggle a lot against. Freddie Peralta's fastball. I mean, we can talk about the offense not looking great. Freddie Peralta was electric yesterday. He looked really good, which is good for him. He's back healthy. But he took 4 of the best at bats I thought of the day. Jordan Walker, 9-game hitting streak to start his career. The youngest player to do that since Ted Williams. It's just them 2, which is amazing. He's 1 game away from passing Ted Williams and taking 10. And then Alec Burleson, I think, is taking really, really good at bats. His defense is shaky and left. That's not what he's out there for. I'm not going to fault him for that. I think Carlson should be helping them defensively because that would have been a different game yesterday if he was out there, I think. But I do think Alec Burleson has taken some of the best at bats on the team. And everybody else is kind of like step up, I think. But those 3 have looked really good, I think.
Well, you said when we came in, hey, can a starting pitcher step up? Jack wasn't great by any means. He wasn't awful. Unfortunately, he's where Jack's been, what we've seen the last year of Jack. Like when it's come back last year
figure it out.
and where he's been. Yeah, I get it, but at some point he's got to figure it out.
Mhm.
Monty, I'm going to add him to the list of positives. He was fantastic. Fantastic. We
Really
needed
good.
that. We really needed that coming off 4 losses in a row. He was vintage Monty with everything that I saw. So that's great. The other guy I'm going to have to give massive shout out to, Nato hits number 300. 1 of 8 career, 1 of 6, I think, in Cardinal history to hit it with the Cardinal birds on the bat on the uniform. Hitting number 300. That is a great milestone for Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, that's awesome for him. He needed it. He had been sitting on 299 for what it felt like forever. Going back to last year, like there was like the last 3 weeks he didn't hit a home run, and he was sitting on 300,
Right.
299. Monty, that's one of the better starts. That's the best start I've seen from him. I think since that shutout he had against the Cubs, the 9-inning shutout. And I think one more thing that I want to talk about is Wilson Contreras' defense looks really good.
It does.
I don't know what he's done, and I don't know if it's at the expense of his offense. I'm not ready to say that yet, but his defense, I mean, he stole the most strikes in baseball, framing wise. So, like the worries that the Cubs had, I hope they're enjoying Yan Gomes and his stealing less strikes than Wilson Contreras and not hitting like him. But shout out to those guys. Now let's just get into the negatives because God, there's a lot of them.
What 1 second before we get into the negatives,
Okay,
I
go
just
ahead.
kind of wanted to walk through Gorman's day yesterday because
Okay,
I
go
do think it needs to be highlighted at his age with all of the question marks that they had on him last year. Coming in, a lot of people, hey, let's trade him. Let's send him back to AAA so he can rake so we can trade him. He is what he is. We know what my eye test tells me what Nolan Gorman is. Look, yesterday, like you said, Peralta had filthy stuff.
His fastball was electric.
His first at bat, he hits an absolute missile on a fastball away that Yelich makes a very nice play on. I mean, give you Christian Yelich, but that's a ball that I think last year Nolan Gorman probably rolls over on, hits a ground ball to second base.
He probably swings and misses.
Oh, potentially. Second at bat, he takes 3 pitches. I mean, he just spits on all 3 of them, ends up with a great walk. They were all around the plate, but his eye looks so much better right now. Like are you raising your hand?
Yeah, I just don't want to talk over you.
I retired from
Raise
teaching,
hand
bro.
feature.
Don't ever do that to me again.
Well, I didn't want
go
you
ahead.
to be in the middle of a point, but the thing, and more importantly than him just taking pitches, because that is what it is, he's taking high fastballs and not going after them. That to me shows that he's confident in what he did this offseason, because he said he's working on laying off of those because he knows that's not his strength, is hitting them. So he's trying to lay off them, and even when they're in the zone, lay off some of them because you don't need to be swinging at them and popping up or whatever. He looks like he's just confident in what he's done, which is great. I think we talked about this. He works his ass off. And I love that he came in and he had a home run on a high fastball, I think, in spring training. And Katie Wu asked him, does it surprise you how quickly and early this is paying off? And he said, no, I worked my ass off. I expect this to pay off. Like, if I'm going to work this hard, I expect the results to be there.
Yeah.
And they have been. So I think he looks really good. And it looks like he's worked on everything they've asked him to work on, which is great.
I am just so happy for him. Again, we know it's baseball. There's going to be a slump. coming at some point in time. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's something. But like I said, the third at bat, you don't see a young guy go up with a guy who's dealing and see the fastball right off the bat, hit it the other way hard again, line drive right to Yelich. Yelich makes a nice play, and then the fourth at bat, he gets on right before the Walker hit, another great at bat where he spits on 3 more fastballs that are right around the zone. But he just looks like a way more, and I've said this all year already, more confident human being at the plate.
He looks like he's a guy that's in his second season in Major League Baseball, and he's adjusted. Like that's the thing we always talk about. The thing that pisses me off about this is we always talk about, hey, how are they going to adjust? We know that Jordan Walker right now is going to struggle here soon. Like the league is going to adjust to him. They're going to expose whatever weakness he has. They have all the film in the world to expose the smallest weakness, and they have the stuff to be able to do it. It's not about how bad you are when they're doing that to you. It's about how you adjust to it. Right. So why we as a fan base, not us, but others, I guess, don't allow them to adjust, knowing that that's going to need to happen. Like it's so wild to me. Like Bryce Harper came up, was really good immediately, and then struggled because they adjusted to him, and then he adjusted back, and he's been a superstar ever since. You got to let these guys adjust. Like it's hard. Major League Baseball it's almost unfathomable because even when Nolan Gorman closes up that hole up top, now they're going to look for something else, and they're going to find something because no swing is perfect. So he's looked great, and I think let's go to Jordan Walker real quick before we go to the negatives. He is way better than I thought he could even be. Like it's not even that close. He took a really good walk yesterday too, which is nice to see. He's slugging over 500, over 550. He's seeing everything. It's not like he's getting pitched like a 3-hole hitter. It's not like he's getting a bunch of fastballs and they don't know who he is. They took the scouting report from spring training to the season, and he's hitting everything. Like he hit a hanging slider yesterday. His home run, one of his home runs was on a slider, one was on a fastball. He's adjusted the major league breaking pitches 100 times faster than I thought he would.
Yeah,
and it's really impressed me.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of, obviously hits his second home run of the week over the weekend. Second on the year. One thing we didn't talk about is he was the youngest when he hit his first one, younger than Ankiel. So since Ankiel to hit the home run, who Ankiel did as a pitcher, by the way, we know he moved on to center field. If you hear grass being cut behind me, I apologize. Let's talk about Walker as we transition to the negatives because I think it all goes hand in hand. Is it time? Like this is a double-edged sword, I think. Okay. Like, I think for Ollie, and I think this is a double-edged sword. Do you move him up in the lineup? Because he probably has deserved it. And you have to continue to question, or do we keep him down and let him continue? Like we've asked for years for depth in the lineup. Do you leave him down there for a little while longer and let him go? And I'm asking, it's a 2-part question to you, but both go together. So go.
I think there's a lot of factors that play into this. One, there is that, hey, he's raking, let him keep raking. 2, opposing to that, you want him to be up with people on base. Like you want him to be up more often because he's taking probably the best at bats on the team, in my opinion. So you want him to be getting 4 at bats, not just 3. But the thing that I think is Ollie's doing, I think it's really smart, is I think what they're looking at is they're saying, when we move Jordan Walker up in the lineup, we don't want to ever move him back down. So we don't want to have to say, hey, Jordan, you're batting second for 2 weeks. And then he struggles and okay, Jordan, you're back to the 8th hole. And now it's like a demotion for a young player. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to wait until they're sure that they're probably not going to have to move him back down to move him up. And I'm okay with that. I do think maybe bat him 6th, get him some more bats, but then Gorman's batting 6th. So they do have a lot of offensive depth. And I also don't think anyone in the top 5 or 6 really needs to be moved. So I'm okay with them keeping him there. I wouldn't bat him 8th ever again. Bat him 7th I'd bat him 6th or 7th. But I think they're going to move him up eventually. But when they do, I think they want to make sure they don't have to move him back down.
Yeah. Who was hitting second yesterday? Why do I not remember?
Burley.
Burley. That's right. Okay. I do think I think that's a move you could switch there if you wanted. But I mean, yeah, I think, like I said, I think it's a double-edged sword. I just am always like, I like my best 6 hitters hitting in the first 6. Jordan Walker's one of your 6 best hitters right now. Yeah. That's what I will say.
So is Nolan Gorman, and then
and I think you could hit Nolan Gorman 6th. That's what I'm saying.
I think I bet Nolan Gorman 2nd, but that's a different conversation.
That's fine. And bat him
in front of Goldie and dare somebody to bring in a lefty against him. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of like him there after Wilson, or even hitting 5th after Nolan and move Wilson to 6th. Whatever. There's a lot of flexibility. It goes back to, again, which leads into what we were talking about. last pod, you said somebody on the pitching staff has to step up. Now we got to have our offense step up with guys on base like that.
Mhm.
You have to drive in runs to win baseball games. Duh. But yesterday was a game that was winnable from the get, and they never ever
Even down
did
6-1.
enough. They never ever did enough. Now, let's get into a few things yesterday. I didn't get to watch everything on Saturday night. I was at work, and then we went to hang out with some friends, so I didn't get to see the entire game on Saturday night. I did get to watch the entire game yesterday. I've got some questions for you, and then I'm going to let you answer those. The biggest one to me is late in the game. You have bases loaded, 2 out, and you pinch hit for Brendan Donovan with Taylor Motter. I'm going to let you go, and then I will respond. It still hurts my head.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'll be honest with you. I don't agree with it either. And Ollie backed it up with stats and whatever in the postgame. For me, I mean, I'll take my chances with Brendan Donovan every day of the week. Even if he looks bad in his first 3 at-bats, which he did. He did not have a good day yesterday. And honestly, I think he needs to figure it out. Now, he's not walking anymore, which was my concern when he started hitting home runs. He stopped walking completely, and that's kind of frustrating. But just to get that situation, I don't think I will take my chances with Brendan Donovan over Taylor Motter literally every day of the week and live with whatever result comes from it. My second problem is one of his things was we don't want to make 2 moves. Well, you have Juan Yepez, you have Taylor Motter anyway, who you're wasting by hitting him. So if you're not and you're in the 8th inning, so if Juan Yepez is not going to come back in and hit later in the game, which he didn't because your middle of your order's coming up, you're not making 2 moves. You are making 2 moves, but it's not affecting you. Like, I don't understand that. And I guess their thing would have been if they would have hit Yepez and then they would have had Motter come in and play second base, and then they would have, hit Carlson for Burleson. Now you've wasted 3 of your 4 bench guys, which I do understand that point, I guess. But for me, I don't even think I'd make a move. Like, just he's your leadoff hitter. Let him take the at bat. I'll take my chances. I'll live and die with Brendan Donovan at this point. If he gets out, you can't kick yourself for the result. Like, it's Brendan Donovan. No one's going to blame you for that. So that's where I'm at with it. It's not the worst decision I've ever seen, but I wouldn't do it again.
Can you pause it? I have to answer the door. Sorry, your mom's in the back. Yeah, sorry about that. Had a little detour there. All right, couple things with the thing. From as far as I'm concerned, we're talking about Brendan Donovan, who is allegedly, who is, as his career going on, has hit lefty well, right? He was hitting 500 this year against lefties. He's your leadoff hitter. You literally pinch hit for your leadoff hitter, a young guy who has had success in that position, for a guy who is 31-year-old journeyman who hasn't played in a long time, as far as at this kind of level. I just have so many questions. It's because the analytics said he might hit a ground ball more times than not, is what Ollie said. I have a massive problem with that. I'm sorry.
I think it's also important, and I don't want to try and defend what he did because I don't agree with it, but I will play devil's advocate because I understand the line of thinking. If you have, like, if it was Juan Yepez, I'd fully have understood the move, okay? But it wasn't Juan Yepez, it was Taylor Motter. No offense to him, but he is who he is at this point in his career. Hobie Milner is really, really tough against lefties. So it's not only important to look at the perspective from Brendan Donovan. There's a reason they brought Hobie Milner in. He's really, really good and really tough against lefties. His ground ball rate against left-handed hitters is one of the highest in baseball. It has been. I still think if Donovan chops a ground ball to a second baseman, you live with what happened. But let's look back to the Braves series, that controversial Tyler O'Neill play. They brought in Brendan Donovan against a righty in that situation, knowing the Braves were going to counter with a lefty, but they were comfortable enough. I don't know if it was AJ Minter or who it was, but comfortable enough or maybe it was Dylan Lee. I don't know who it was, but comfortable enough with Donovan taking that at bat, and then he got a single and he rewarded them for it. So I don't really get how that changes that quickly. Donovan wasn't taking great at bats this weekend, I didn't think, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's as big of a deal as some people are making it, because I honestly am under the belief either way probably would have ended the inning. I didn't think anything was going to happen there, but it's not a move I'd make. I don't know if they'll make it again. I don't even know if Taylor Motter's going to be here long enough for them to make it again. But the biggest problem for me, if you're going to make the move, which I don't even think I do, Dylan Carlson and Juan Yepez are the guys you should go to. Like, that's when Paul DeYoung's back, which he will be back. Taylor Motter's going to be in AAA. So what are we doing? I don't understand it. I don't care.
Yeah, and you just brought up the guy that was the transition into my next point. is Dylan Carlson hurt? Do we know? And two,
He's
why
not.
is he now the fifth outfielder and like the last option on the bench? You allowed Andrew Kisner to hit. That's a whole nother story. When
Wait,
you
when?
have, huh?
When?
I mean, well, I guess they did. Did they pinch hit for him
Wilson.
late?
Wilson.
Well, that's right. Okay, my apologies. That's right. So my apologies on that one. I forgot. But you could have obviously hit for DC for him there, whatever, and brought Contreras in.
Wilson makes more sense.
That right.
1-for-1 move.
But what is Dylan Carlson like? What are we doing here? We're still, in my opinion, Tyler O'Neill is not a center fielder. He's never been a center fielder. We talked about last year. You bring him back from an injury and you put him in center field. Out of all three of the outfield spots, let's be honest, where are you going to get hurt the most? Where do you run the most? Where do you run the farthest? It's center field.
Mm-hmm.
We have an elite center fielder that when we traded Bader, opened up a spot for Dylan Carlson defensively. Why is he MIA? What has he done? Is he hurt? Does Ollie just I don't understand this thing at all. And I am so confused because we're not, again, putting our best guys on the field in the right time.
No, he's not hurt. He played Saturday and he played pretty well, by the way. He had 2 hits. But I think there's a couple of things involved in why Tyler O'Neill is getting run at center field. Part of it, I think, is after that situation last week against Atlanta, I think Ollie's like, okay, we're moving on from that. Go. I'm giving you center field. Like, I'm giving you the opportunity to see what you can do out there. Go take it. It's early in the season. He hasn't. Like Tyler O'Neill, I get 2021. He was fantastic. For me, he hasn't even earned playing time. Like, I could see an argument for, when Nootbaar's back, for it to be a Nootbaar, Carlson, Walker outfield. And I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think there might be a situation where Nootbaar ends up being your center fielder against right-handed pitching. That wouldn't surprise me. But I don't get their handling Dylan Carlson. By the way, shout out Jeff. He followed us on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Dylan's father.
We're on your side here.
Yes, and I do want to get to backup catching for a second, but after this, I don't know. I want Dylan Carlson to be our everyday center fielder. His exit velocity, his baseball savant page looks really good. He's hitting the ball really hard. So he did what you asked him to do. It's almost like Ollie or the coaching staff, I don't know who it is, doesn't like Dylan Carlson, and I just don't get it because last year it seemed like you liked him enough to let him play through injury.
Correct.
Without binging him, so. You let him play through injury. He struggled. You didn't get the MRI when you should have, like earlier, which is the problem that this Cardinals medical staff has had for fucking years. When you're late to the problem. And then he struggles because of it. And now you're not playing him. Like, I don't understand.
I don't get it. I'm going to go back to what you had said earlier about after the debacle, they let Tyler play center field. I'm going to go back to again and ask the question, and I think it's probably a rhetorical question because I don't know that you have an answer, but why? Like, what metrics has anyone seen? Because yesterday we were told we pinch hit for Brendan Donovan because of the metrics. Bullshit metrics, by the way. I'm sorry. Like, I want my best player. Who's better baseball player? Brendan Donovan or Taylor Motter? No shot at Taylor Motter. I want Brendan Donovan, my leadoff hitter in that situation. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say my eye test because I hate that. I am not a major league coach. I don't have all the stuff at their disposal. But somebody explain to me what you are seeing or what anyone has seen that tells you or anyone else that Tyler O'Neill is a better defensive center fielder than Dylan Carlson. That's all I want to know. Not that, we want to see what he can prove out there. We know what Dylan Carlson can do out there. I just don't understand. I don't understand it.
I think they're just I think Tyler O'Neill came in wanting to play. I just saw something that's going to piss you off. Wanting to play center field. And I think they're just saying I think they told him, hey, we're going to give you a couple weeks to try and do it. If you don't do it, we're giving it back. He's not going to be a center fielder for long. Tyler O'Neill, 42nd percentile in terms of outs above average in center field. So he's worse than, what is that, 56% of the league?
And is it Dylan in 93 or something like that?
Dylan's 94.
There it is.
So, yeah, Dylan Carlson should be the center fielder. Here's my thing, too. Like, it's not even just that. And I don't want to shit on Alec Burleson because I said he's taking great at bats, and he is. And I get you can have a corner outfielder that's not great defensively. I don't know if you should have two because Jordan Walker's not great defensively either. I have a couple issues with. I think this team is kind of hypocritical at times. Like, you build a rotation around your defense, right? Like, you don't get the high strikeout guys because you think that you can maximize a Jordan Montgomery and get more out of the $10 million you're paying him than you will out of $30 million for Jacob deGrom. Well, then don't you have to have guys that are going to be behind him that are your best defensive guys? Or else what's the point of doing this? And you need strikeouts? Because yesterday it should have been 1-1 in the seventh inning. But Alec Burleson misreads a ball to the left field that scores 2 runs. I mean, Willie Adames smoked the ball, don't get me wrong. And if you're him, you probably think you deserve a double there. And it's not an error by any means, but Dylan Carlson or Tyler O'Neill catches that ball. And then Tyler O'Neill misreads a ball straight to him in center field that Dylan Carlson definitely catches. Like Dylan Carlson is one of the best outfielders in baseball at going back on balls. We've seen that for 3 years now. So if you're going to build a team that doesn't strike anybody out and you have good fielders, play the good fielders. Like I don't understand when did we become so worried about offense? It's not. There's 2 parts of baseball. Like
there are.
And Dylan Carlson's not a bad offensive player. If he was Kevin Kiermaier, even like offensively, and Kiermaier's been hitting well, but Kiermaier the last 5 years, then I get it, but he's not.
Yeah, the other thing that feels like to me is it almost feels like Twitter at this point.
It's just
like
weird.
We've decided who Dylan Carlson is as an organization. He can't hit against right-handed pitchers, so we're never going to play him. Like, and guess what? We face 80% right-handed pitching. So you're leaving this kid who you gave a vote of confidence to last year and said, look, we want to get you healthy. We want to do that. And it's because they're using a sample size from last year, not hitting lefties because he was hurt. That's what I mean. Sorry, righties. I apologize. Yeah. I don't understand. It is literally the whole thing is blowing my mind that it is giving me a headache and I don't understand it. Look, I love Alec Burleson. I love the way he's been swinging the bat, but it's almost like we're trying to force him into the lineup, which
he's earned it though. Like let's be
I'm
fair,
not arguing that.
With his opportunities,
Caleb, there's one outfielder, and you know that I love him, that's playing every day in the lineup that has not earned it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that he has a 680 OPS, and that's Tyler O'Neill. And I am a Tyler guy, right? Everyone knows that. I am. I've been a fan of his since he came up, since we acquired him from Marco Gonzalez. I've been a fan of this guy. However, you can't tell me one, he's the best center fielder. He's not. And you can't tell me one that he's more of an offensive threat right now than Dylan Carlson because the numbers don't suggest that either. I understand, guys, before somebody comes on and yells at me, it's 9 games. I understand that. But if you're going to say you have to hit to play or you have to do this to play, you have to be full throttle to play, we're going to put our best guys, and then Alec Burleson's in left field. Explain to me why you don't have Dylan Carlson in center field.
The thing that bothers me as well is they've spoken glowingly about Dylan Carlson lately. In terms of how he's handling not playing very much, which is what I expect. Dylan Carlson seems like just a stand-up guy. Tyler O'Neill, you haven't spoken glowingly of. In fact, I saw an interesting interview over the weekend with Matt Holliday on the fast lane, who is close to Ollie for whatever that's worth, that said he believes that was not the first instance with Tyler O'Neill hustling, and that he doesn't even think it was the first. He thinks it dates back to a year ago, where this has happened multiple times with Tyler O'Neill. And that is why Ollie brought it to the media, because it's been addressed and hasn't been fixed. That's what he said. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying that's what Matt Holliday said on the fast lane. So take that for what it's worth. If you're pissed off with his effort and he's not playing well, if I'm Dylan Carlson, I'm like, what the fuck do I have to do? And more importantly, he would have had more value to you on the trade market than he has to you as a platoon bat.
Right.
I'm not advocating for trading him because I would be playing him. But if you're going to do this to the kid, what you decide who he was at the age of 24? We're talking about how young Nolan Gorman is. Carlson's been here a lot longer, so it seems like he's older. He's 24 years old.
Yeah, I think a few things that really brings into question, and you can probably play devil's advocate with some of these, but is the Cardinals organization handling of a lot of young guys over the last 10 years? I mean, if you go back, we've seen Tommy Pham, who thought he should have been here, and every number he had put up through the minors suggested he should have been here. He didn't get an opportunity. When he did perform highly. Then he blasted him in a Sports Illustrated article. They get rid of him. Randy Rosarina comes up, films Mike Schilt cursing, gone. I'm not saying that's why. I'm not. But Adolis Garcia trips going around third in a playoff game. They DFA him. Randall Grichuk was incredibly outspoken after they got rid of him about the handling of the organization of him. Colton Wong was incredibly outspoken about that. I'm just saying.
I do think it's fair to say that this Mike Matheny's not here anymore, and he was a lot of the problem.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, though, he's also part of the organization. All right. It wasn't just him. He's not. We know that he wasn't pulling all the strings. You know that.
I don't know, because there were remember when we had AJ Ellis or Mark Ellis Who was it?
Mark
Ellis.
Ellis.
And he was playing him over Colton Wong, and the
Yeah.
front office had to get rid of Mark Ellis to get him.
I understand.
It was
I'm
like
just saying,
Moneyball.
it is. There are a lot of examples, and I hope that we're not doing it again with Dylan.
Hold on, but I
That's
think
all
to
I'm
play
saying.
devil's advocate to your point, they are who are they playing over Dylan Carlson? Two young guys. So it's not like they're playing some wily vet in right field.
Well, they
playing Dylan
kind of
Carlson.
are. Tyler O'Neill's 28.
They're not. He's not a vet. I mean, he's 28 years old. Fine.
I understand, but
there's
there's
no one. Don't sit here and act like we don't understand why they're playing Tyler O'Neill. We've seen why. Tyler O'Neill at his best is way better than Dylan Carlson's ever been. That's a fact.
All right, but he's not now.
Okay, yeah, sure, but it's 9 games in. But either way, like it's not like they're playing some Mark Ellis or Jose Martinez. They're playing they're playing Alec Burleson and Jordan Walker. So,
but do you believe Burleson's ceiling is higher than Dylan Carlson's?
Offensively, yes.
That's again, you just said 5 minutes ago. There's two parts to this game.
Yeah, it depends on what you're talking about. Do I think?
As
I think
a player,
if you play both of them every day, Carlson accumulates more WAR. But if you feel like your other two, I mean, it just depends. I don't think they play the same position. Now, I think the better question would be O'Neill versus Burleson, and I still say O'Neill. But I think Carlson should just be the center fielder. I don't know. I don't think it's fair to bring up the past because I think those were managers. I think that's kind of doing Ollie a disservice because I do think he handled young guys really well last year. I do think 9 games in, he's handled a lot of them pretty well. I think he's handled Walker really well. I think he's handled Burleson really well. I do think Carlson's the one guy I have a massive issue with. And hopefully that changes. That might be an organizational-wide philosophy too. It might not just be Ollie. So I don't know. We're going to see where that goes. Do you have anything else to say about this? Because I want to get into backup catching because I'm kind of bothered by something.
Yeah, absolutely. The last thing I'll say is if it is an organizational philosophy, it brings back what I've been saying. I have a lot of questions about the organizational philosophy. That's what I'll say. I really will. Like, here's what the last thing I'll say leading into catching is the pitching. We're going into Coors. We'll see what happens. I still have massive question marks about this pitching, about the starting. Yesterday, it felt like Palante was left in way too long. It felt like Woodford was left in at least a batter too long. Why you allow him to face Willie Adames?
He shouldn't start again.
I don't understand that at all. I just feel like here's the thing. We have the sorry, my apologies. We have the 9th richest owner in baseball, and we have the 4th highest value in Major League Baseball. I'm not saying we need to spend with the Mets, but we're watching what the Padres are doing. And I know you don't agree with that. However, what I'm saying is it does feel like we should be spending more money on the assets we have. We have a young, cost-controlled team, kind of like what the Braves have, but we're not filling in the gaps with guys to go around them outside of Nolan, Goldie, and Contreras. I understand that's 3 guys, but you got to have more than 3. Yeah. That's what I'll say.
Well, hold on. The offense is fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah, I'm talking about as a team. I'm not talking about the offense.
Yeah,
I'm talking about as a team.
We'll see if they do the trade deadline. We'll see. You know, they have a lot of organizational depth, which you can use that instead of spending on a free agent contract that you're going to hate in 3 years. You could use that to get somebody. We'll see what they do. They just need to get there, and they need to be in playoff contention when they're there, in my opinion. But we're not getting Jay Happ and John Lester again. Backup catching. We were adamantly team Andrew Kisner and team play Andrew Kisner and keep him on the team because we thought Ivan Herrera shouldn't come up and sit, right?
Right.
If you're going to sit Wilson Contreras 1 game every series, Andrew Kisner can't be your backup catcher.
Agreed.
He can't. He's not good enough at anything. Like, honestly, and I don't want to hate on Andrew Kisner. He gets a lot of hate. Seems like a good clubhouse dude. Okay, this is the major leagues. I just don't care about that at all. I don't think anymore. Like, they have enough clubhouse character in there to be fine. If Ivan Herrera is ever going to be the guy, then he needs to be the guy now. Am I getting called by my college? No, not answering you. Anyway, I think you need to bring up Ivan Herrera if he's ever going to be your guy. If you're just stashing the minor leagues to trade him, then I don't know, trade him. Like, just fucking do it already. But if you're not doing that and you still think he can develop, then Andrew Kisner's not good defensively. He's not good at game calling. He doesn't work umpires, according to everything I've heard. He doesn't frame pitches well. He also can't hit at all. Like, at all. It's almost wild. Like, he can't hit. He's not a Major League Baseball player. I don't think.
Yeah, it's weird how he was, like, he had a really good minor league
really
career.
Good.
Very good minor league career. Now, let me ask you this, because I don't know enough about the situation with the organization. I probably should do a little bit more research on this. That's on me. But it almost feels like you're stuck with Kisner because I don't think that they believe Herrera is a better option. I don't know if they believe that Herrera
is not worse.
And I understand that. but I'm just saying, I don't know if they believe that Herrera's trajectory has stalled. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know that answer because they've got 3 catchers now at AAA down there, and they got 2 guys on the come up that they seem to have fallen in love with more than Ivan Herrera, who just 2 years ago was a top 5 prospect in this organization.
He still is top 10.
Still, right. I mean, I don't know that answer, so I can't really address it. I wish, like, a lot of teams, like, it's not a bad thing to have addressed that in the offseason. They didn't. They went with kids. I understand it. I don't know who was out there that you could have added to have as a backup catcher. That's on me also. I don't know. I mean, I know the Machados of the world were out there, but they got starter money. They weren't going to get that here. So it's almost like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place with Kisner, Herrera. I mean, Barrera, obviously they did not feel that he was ready. So I don't know the answer, bro. I really don't know that answer at all.
Here's my thing. Like, then you should have paid like Austin Hedges, like $3 million to be a good defensive backup for you. You know what I mean? Like, at least get good defense out of the spot. Like, you can't have nothing. Like,
I'm not arguing. I'm saying I'm just not well enough versed on the subject.
And I don't want to hate on Andrew Kisner this much because he seems like a good dude and whatever. But at some point, like, dude, you got to perform. I don't know why. Like, it's almost wild. Like, he shouldn't be on a major league roster right now, the way he's been playing. I'm not saying he can't ever be on one. His minor league stats would tell you he probably should be at some point. But right now, the way he's playing right now, he's not providing any value at all. And I do get the point of, if you think Ivan Herrera is going to come up and be similar, right? And it, like, maybe better on the margins, but not substantial, then I get wanting to say, well, that's not worth, halting his development. But my argument would be, we see this all the time in the NFL, and it's different. I get it with quarterbacks, but I do think there would be something to Ivan Herrera, who's had questions managing a pitching staff, and had questions calling games and preparing for starts the right way because he's young. Wouldn't it be beneficial to have him up here with Wilson Contreras helping him do those things? I think it would.
Yeah, but I understand that. I think, just to play devil's advocate, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, I think you also would rather have a guy who is still trying to develop, playing every day, right, at AAA. I also will say, and I agree with everything you said about Andrew Kisner, but the hardest position in Major League Baseball is to be a backup catcher. It really is, or a pinch hitter, right? A guy. I know. Hold on, let me finish.
Sorry.
I understand. Like, and he has gotten more play because of the Contreras injury and everything else. He's played more early on, I think, than the Cardinals wanted. I think what they're hoping is to get Contreras fully healthy, to where there are games where weeks where he's going to play 6 games out of 7. I really do believe that.
Though. I don't think they're going to. I just don't think they're ever going to play him a day game after a night game.
Yeah, that could be.
And here's the thing: that if that's the case, that means Andrew Kisner's playing 33% of the games. Right. Maybe lower that to 28%. Because there's going to be some Sunday night baseball games, whatever. But either
50
way,
games. That's almost 50
exactly.
games.
Like, that's it. You said Ted Contreras was going to catch 120 to 130 games. He's on pace to catch 110.
Right.
So,
right.
And
now, to be fair, he got hurt, and that cost him 2 games. So we can't be on pace in the first 9 games.
He's not actually. He's probably on pace to catch less than that. Now that I think about it. But what I'm saying is, it seems like this isn't like it's start the first 2 games, you're off the day game. That's what they're doing. So if that continues. Like, I don't know if it will. Maybe he is still a little banged up with the knee and it's still a little sore, and so you don't want him squatting.
Agreed.
12 hours after the game.
Handle him smartly at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't even understand it. I'm just saying that I think what they should have done maybe, and what they don't do, which is one of the things that bothers us, is it was really easy to say, well, we have backup catching options. Okay, but do you have somebody you like? Because if the answer is no, and there's someone out there that was willing to come to a contending team that plays this at least has a good reputation, like Austin Hedges, for example, defensively, and running a pitching staff that could help Wilson with his defensive questions. I think they should have gone that route, and they just kind of stood back because it was easy, I think.
Which goes back to what I had said 5 minutes ago about Bill DeWitt not spending money to improve.
I don't think it's about money. I think it's just about what's easy for them.
Well, okay, those go together, though, okay? I mean, that goes together.
Maybe.
Like, those are organizational decisions and philosophies that
I'm not going to kill him too hard, though.
I'm not killing anybody.
I get it. Like, I wouldn't have been like gung-ho, like, oh, great signing if they signed Austin Hedges.
Agreed. I agree.
I think it would have been a smart move. And we'll see. Like, I don't know how big of a leash Andrew Kisner has. Just like we say with Tyler O'Neill and some other guys, this is his last chance, I think, here. So if he struggles for more, they might cut bait. We'll see. I hope he plays well. I hope he doesn't get to that. I like Andrew Kisner, but
yeah, same. We saw him have some flashes over the last couple of years of where he put it together a few weeks that were pretty solid. But then we would
like a good dude to have in the clubhouse. But he's got to perform. It's 9 games. I get it, but it's not. He was horrible in spring training. He was bad last year. So we got to see something.
Wilson will be back in the lineup tonight against Colorado. You want to get into that really quickly before we get out of here? Because first of all, thank you everybody for listening. We greatly appreciate you. As always, you can find us on our socials here. If you hit that subscribe button, is it at the bottom, Caleb, of what they're watching?
It's right by our name. Like you'll see
right
it.
By our
You'll
name,
see it. If you look by the comment section, it says subscribe. And obviously, if you just want to click on our profile, you can click it there too.
We would greatly appreciate that. We are gonna try to up our pods, correct? Like maybe go to 3 a week now, and then we're trying to figure out a way how to do post game stuff on here. We're still in the infancy stages of figuring that out to where we can come on, do a quick one, get it out for everybody to see. But thank you guys again for the support. Our power rankings have been delayed. This is sort of my fault. I'll jump on that. I wasn't fully prepared. I have to work here in a little bit, which is kind of speeding up my process a little bit. And then we had the whatever. There's a lot going on. So we will have those out. I'd like to go around the league a little bit more than what we're doing because there's a lot of really great baseball going on. The Rays are 9-0. The Rays are 9-0. That is awesome. And I feel like we've not given anybody else more love. Grayson Rodriguez was called up, made his debut. We saw Machado be the first guy to get tossed on a violation. Like there's a lot of stuff we haven't talked about. I want to spend more time talking about that stuff on the pod, along with what we're bringing with the Cardinals. Do you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Rays are really good, man. They're really good. Yeah. Playing bad teams, to be fair. They played 3 really bad teams.
I don't care. They're 9-0.
They're still winning every game. I mean, they're doing what they should do.
Also, before we get to the preview, were we wrong on the Brewers, or is this also just it's 9 games? Don't read too much into it.
I think there's multiple factors, and I don't think we were wrong. I always thought they could be really good. Like I thought it was possible. Here's the thing. Weimer, Turang, and Garrett Mitchell have all 3 been really, really good to start the year. Not to say that can't continue, but we saw it last year with our young guys. It's hard to sustain, young guys being good the whole year. So we'll see. Maybe one of those guys ends up being a Rookie of the Year finalist. Maybe 2 of them does, or maybe all 3 of them start to struggle. Everything's going right for the Brewers right now. We know that's not going to continue that way. I think they're going to be good, though. I think they're probably going to be. They're going to be contention the whole year. That's just who
Brian
they are.
Anderson, a nice start. Willie Adames, great.
Brian Anderson's a good player. He was
Rowdy Tellez has really struggled, which is also if you're a Brewers fan, like okay, William Contreras. It looks like he's the guy to play every day there. Mm-hmm. We just saw Jackson Churio. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's the #1 prospect in baseball.
Did Walker graduate?
Yes. Yep. So
Churio's really good, but he's a while away. But
19. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I think you're not going to run away with this thing. I don't think. I think the Brewers could win over 90 games.
Were you shocked that they DFA'd Hira?
No, because I like Bryce Turang a lot.
Yeah, it's just weird that was the guy that they were seemed to be building. I mean, when he came up, he set the world on fire.
Yeah, he was bad for 3 straight years.
Yeah, weird. What a weird.
He was a stud in college. All right, you want to get to the probable starting pitchers. I'm looking at this and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Okay, I'm liking the matchups here that I'm seeing. That doesn't mean anything, but this is what series where you look at it on paper and you think, man, a sweep would be really nice here. But we're in Colorado and weird stuff's going to happen, so probably not. But Jose Urena, who we're facing game 3, has a 14 ERA with 1 strikeout. So if we lose to him, I don't know what's happening. But Steven Matz versus German Marquez. Marquez is a guy that it's weird. It's normally, we have more confidence against left-handed pitching, generally speaking, since we got Arenado and Goldie. I like our line much better against righties. I like how that plays for us in Coors Field. German Marquez has just kind of lost a step, it seems, lately. And Steven Matz needs to bounce back. Like, that's my thing with him. Be the guy. I mean, at least be $11 million worth. I'm not asking you to be 30. Be worth the $11 million we're paying you, not a 6 ERA. Miles Michaelis versus Kyle Freeland. Miles Michaelis last time he was in Colorado was awful. So we can't have to mention that, I guess. I like the matchup for the Cardinals. Kyle Freeland's kind of been one of those guys that figured out how to pitch in Colorado. They have those guys every once in a while that figure it out. Not Mike Hampton. He did not figure it out.
No, he did
Kyle
not.
Freeland has figured it out. So we'll see. I still like the matchup there. Need Miles to bounce back. He's been bad for 2 starts. And then Jack versus Jose Urena. I don't know how if Jack is walking people in Colorado, it's going to be a problem.
Recipe for disaster.
So he's got to really get that under control. I liked his demeanor. Let's talk about Jack for a second. I really like Jack's demeanor after the post games. He's kind of been a guy. I love Jack, and we've defended him a lot on here. that's been a little bit pissy when he has a bad start. Like he gets really upset, and he does. He's like one of those guys where you're like, oh, you have to walk on eggshells, around him when you're asking questions because he will, get pissed off. He has a much better and more mature approach this year, I think, to that, and seems like he's just trying to identify solutions that act emotionally, which I think is going to bode well for him. Need him to bounce back. Jose Ren is way worse than Jack Flaherty, so still an advantage to us. It's one of those series you look at it and you think we probably could sweep this thing, but in reality, we're probably going to battle to try and win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, Kyle Freeland lefty, like that should set up well for the Cardinals with the right-handed
He's good,
lineup.
though, man. Kyle Freeland,
that's what I was getting to. He's also very tough. Marquez has been tough on us over his entire career, it feels like. So again, it's Coors Field. I'm telling you, like there is no lead to feel safe. There is no deficit that you feel like you're out of it. Like, let's just be honest. It is one of those 2 heavyweight teams, and I'm not calling either of them right now a heavyweight team. That's just what it feels like. It's a heavyweight boxing match where they're going to have to absorb every blow, and the last man standing is who's going to win. I mean, that's
Rumble in the jungle.
There's just like nothing safe in that place, and it's been that way since it opened for the Cardinals. I don't know how other teams have fared there. I assume the same way. I just know that game we've ever played in Colorado, it didn't matter what the lead or deficit was. It didn't matter.
No, and the Rockies are really good at home, so it's definitely not just the Cardinals. They've been really good at home. They've kind of figured it out a little bit, I think. Because they're just used to it and other people aren't. Here's what I'm looking for this series. I guess let's get into that. I want one of the big 3, whether that's Wilson, whether that's Goldie, whether that's Nolan. One of them has to have a monster series. Yeah. I'm not saying go in there and hit a homer and, bat 333 for the series. The reason this team isn't scoring, I think, is a lot of people are hitting okay, but no one's hot. Even Jordan Walker, who has a 9-game hitting streak, he's not like red hot. He's not smoking everything. I need one of those 3 to step up and have a monster series where it's like, whoa, Goldie just batted 500 with 3 home runs this series. Yep. That's what needs to happen. Set the tone. I thought on Saturday I tweeted one of these 3 needs to set the tone. Arenado RBI and then Wilson RBI. They set the tone. I'm looking for Goldie or Nolan or Wilson, one of the 3, to just go out there and be a masher. And I'm picking Arenado. He hasn't had great series since he's been back in Colorado. He's back for the 3rd time. I'm picking him to have a monster series this weekend.
Okay, I agree with everything you said right there. I think also you just in a game in Coors, and you've played in a lot of these games where you thought maybe they'd be low scoring. Not that we think that, but then all of a sudden you're in an 8-7 game, and it feels like if you don't score each inning, like you're going to lose. Yeah. I think you have to hit with. I think one of the keys is you've got to get a couple big hits with runners in scoring position, whether it's second and third, whether it's just a guy on third with less than 2 outs. Whether it's a guy, whatever it is, bases loaded, less than 2 outs, you've got to get runs in. We didn't discuss it yesterday, and I don't want to harp on it, but the Tommy Edman at bat was absolute garbage late in the game. He works it to 3-1 on actually what was probably a rough call. Looked like it should have been a ball. Yeah. Right, I agree. But then he just flips the wrists on a 3-1 pitch the other way. That's not that's not what you could do on a 3-1 pitch. If you can't handle that pitch and drive it somewhere, you take it and get to the next pitch on 3-2. That was absolutely a garbage at bat by Tommy Edman. That's all there is to it. You can't do those things with less than 2 outs.
He was trying to do too much. That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't though. That's what I'm saying. If he was doing too much, he would have rolled over on the ball and hit a ground ball to second base.
That's not true though, Dad. Just because you're late on it doesn't mean you're not trying to do too much.
It was a flip though. Okay, he wasn't late. It was like he was trying to guide the ball into left field.
I think he was trying to hit a run in. I think he was doing too much when he could have taken it. Here's the thing. This is what I'm saying. I'm looking for in the first game of the series. Get 3 guys on base and hit a bases clearing double.
That'd be great.
It's just something where it's like someone's got to do it eventually because this isn't going to continue the whole year. We know that it will even out. Runners scoring position is a futile thing. It seems like sometimes you can't get out with runners scoring position, especially with Goldie and Nolan, who are 2 of the best in baseball. And it seems like sometimes you can't get a hit. That's just baseball. Sometimes you've got to have someone that alleviates the pressure, which takes me back. Who are the guys you look on to do that? It's Goldie, it's Nolan. Previously, and now Wilson's here getting paid $18 million to be our catcher. It's you now too, Wilson. So got to have some good at-bats in those situations. I agree. Pitching, it's weird because I do agree that we need better starting pitching as a whole. I do think this weekend they were better as a whole. I thought there were 2 good performances. Well, one great, one all right. And then I don't think Woodford should start again, but that's a different conversation. I think this weekend's going to be weird. If someone goes out there and gives up 5 runs in 5 innings at Coors Field, I can't really bash them for it. It just kind of happens, but just battle. Don't let innings become 10-run innings. Don't let things snowball on you because it can happen very easily in Coors Field. And also one thing that I think we need to look for, what have we always talked about Coors Field? The outfield is fucking huge.
Yes.
It's huge. So many, that's why guys bet 300 there all the time. Charlie Blackmon's made a living doing it. I don't know how you can roll out an outfield of Alec Burleson, Tyler O'Neill, and Jordan Walker and not get burned multiple times in the same game.
Yep. I agree.
So I'm play Dylan Carlson at center field, please. That's what I would do in the series. You need to save runs here. Your pitching is going to pitching to contact in Coors Field is like the kiss of death.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I am 100% with you on that. How far away is Newt? Do we know?
He's on the road trip, which means he probably could come back this series because they're going back home after this series, and he want to be on the road trip. I think they said that he's still working on some things. I bet he plays the Pittsburgh series and doesn't play this series.
Dion moved up to Memphis. Also, one thing, Brent, just to kind of piggyback on Jake Woodford, I watched the Libby start the other night. Oh my, that's not the same Matthew Liberatore I've watched pitch before. Again, we talked about Gorman's confidence. This dude, get ball, throw by everybody. That slider is filthy. That fastball, the velo is way up for him right now. He looks confident and he looks comfortable with 4 pitches right now. And I'm telling you, I don't know what that means. I can just, it was minor league, it was AAA. I don't know what that equates to. But right now, what you have at Memphis with what Matthew Liberatore has done through 2 starts is something that we have to keep an eye on, I think, as Cardinal fans. I'm not saying he needs to be here right now. I'm just saying that's something that with the bullpen, some of the woes we have. Also, by the way, shout out to Drew Verhagen, who has been very, very good. We have been very critical of Drew Verhagen on here from last year. That's on us. We did make fun of the impingements. That's also on us. However, he has been very, very good. But I do think we have to keep an eye on Matthew Liberatore down there in Memphis.
Yeah, he should be on the rotation. Why would he not be? Jake Woodford is not a major league starting pitching or on a contending team. I'm going to keep saying it. And this isn't anything against Matthew Liberatore, against Jake Woodford. And I don't even want, he could be that eventually. He's not right now. And he keeps proving it. He's not giving you length. And he's not giving you good 4 innings.
Right.
So if he's not going more than 4 and he's not giving you a good 4, well, what's he giving you? Start an opener. No argument. Start Jordan Hicks. I don't know. I think Jake, the problem's going to be if you don't know when to put him in the rotation, because on the 5 days he's not lined up. He's lined up with Michaelis, I think, or maybe Michaelis or Jack. He's lined up with one of the first 2 starters.
Yeah, I think he's lined up with Jack. Yeah, through Friday night.
And you don't want to just put him in with Woodford because then you have 3 lefties starting in a row, and that's not really what you want either. So I don't know what you do. I would bring him up though. Honestly, I would. Why would you not? Now's a chance to see what he's got, right? Because Waino's coming back soon. And when that happens, you got a full 5 barring injury. And then you really don't have any opportunity to see what he's got. So why not bring him up right now and say, hey, kid, you're pitching well. Carry that confidence in right now. Don't make him go out there and maybe get blown up one start in Memphis, which happens at minor league stadium sometimes. Say, hey, you're rolling well right now. Put him in the rotation and see what he's got. That's what I would do against Pittsburgh this weekend.
Let's say I lied. He pitched Thursday. It was a doubleheader. He pitched Thursday. So that would align him.
Tomorrow?
He would be set to pitch on
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. So, why wouldn't you just bring him up and then have him start against Pittsburgh,
Yeah, it's interesting to see. I push him back 2 days and see what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would.
But I guess right now they want to keep him. Honestly, what you could do is have him pitch that second game or that final game against Pittsburgh if you wanted to do so, because you have the day off on Thursday. You can manipulate Woodford out of there and you can manipulate around that. I don't know how they'll handle that, but that is something you could do is have Libby throw in Memphis on Tuesday, bring him up to pitch Sunday against Pittsburgh at home. That's not a bad idea. I'm not saying that's what they'll do. I'm just saying that is an option.
I just would like to see him get an opportunity before Waino's
Me too.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. So predictions. You took Nato. I'm going to take Goldie for the weekend. Dude tears up the NL West. Always has. I just feel like
no one doesn't. That's
a good pick to go with it. I'm going with Goldie. He's yet to have the big Goldie moment, I think, right? Yeah.
In the ball.
One last thing, because I do have to get out of here. One last thing. Any concern about the guys who've come back from the World Baseball Classic struggling? Is anything you see there?
No, because no, I'm not concerned about
that's
that.
fair.
It just is what it is. Coincidences happen, and Goldie's doing well, by the way. He has a 900 OPS. So
yeah,
no, I'm not concerned about it. If it's a league-wide thing by June, we can talk about it, but right now, no. Prediction for the series. God, I'm such a fucking homer. It's so bad. It's just so bad. I know that they're going to lose 2 out of 3, but I'm saying they sweep them. I'm going to say it. Well, there's a sweep.
Okay.
Because they need to get back to 500. They need to get back to 500. Okay. That's more reasonable. But I'm predicting a sweep. I think they need to get back to 500, and got a 7-game winning streak would be really nice. That would be really nice. So I'm saying they sweep them. They're going to lose the game one, and it's going to be dead immediately. But we're going with it.
Right. That's so watch tonight. Those of you at home, watch tonight. Later baseball tonight in Colorado.
No,
When we
7.
come home. Oh, is it 7 tonight?
7:40.
Well, that's late. That's later. Normal most games are 6:40, 6:45.
Yeah, but not normally it's
6:15.
like 8 or 9.
So still later.
6:40.
Enjoy it.
Oh,
Look.
never mind. 6:40. No, that's Mountain Time.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God, dude.
Sorry, it said MDT, and I was like, wait, Midwest. And then I
Mountain.
was like, wait, that's Mountain. My bad.
Mountain Daylight Time. Let's go
Okay.
ahead and make sure that we know what we're
Yeah, I
looking
know
at
it's
there.
Mountain Time. I figured it out.
Okay. All right. So enjoy some Cardinal baseball this week. We will be back in a couple days with our power rankings. We've got a mailbag. We've been really lax on the mailbag, but we've had so many things to talk about with the Cardinals playing actual meaningful games that it's been hard to get to. I do apologize for the couple breaks here that happened. Hey, that's life. That's what happens. I can't handle that. Or can't deal. Or what am I looking for?
I don't know, but you need to get out of here so you can go to work.
Yeah, I do. I do have to get out of here. I have to go. I have to go be Bill Murray at the golf course.
Had to check. I get it.
All right. I'm glad you got that. Listen, for everybody, thank you so much. We got a 3-game set with Coors. We'll be back at the end of that and getting ready for the Pirates to come up. Enjoy some baseball. If you have the MLB package, I've really been enjoying the minor league Cardinal games. It's really fun to get to watch, to get to see some of the guys on the up and up. Hopefully we'll have somebody on here soon that we can talk about some of the minor league guys. I'd like to do that. So everybody have an incredible Monday. Have an incredible Tuesday. Hopefully we talk to you Wednesday or Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Cards.